Good evening, how my beautiful queens and handsome kings doing this evening? How you all doing? Welcome or welcome back to another video. How you all doing? This will just kind of be like a little sit down chit chat with me video. I'm just giving you all like realistic, um, day to day on how I'm feeling when it come down to working two jobs. I just kind of wanted to share and open up a little bit lately on what it's been like working two jobs, because I know you all they've been probably following me for quite some time. You all know that I told you all that I currently work two jobs, two hotels as a banquet catering server, um, as well as a restaurant server. So my first job, I'm a bistro server, which is that's in the restaurant, and I also do banquets there. And I also work at another hotel where I just strictly do banquets. I just want to open up. Like I say, I'm just sharing from my point of view how I'm feeling. I know I have to do like a little disclaimer, because sometimes people can take certain things out of context when you like sharing certain things or just opening up about how you really feeling. But like I say, my feelings is valid, to each his own. Everybody have their personal, experiences when it come down to, their life. Like I say, you all see majority of the part or what I share with you all on my channel, but on the behind the scenes, that 2-3% hit differently. Like I say, you all know I come on camera, I try to open up. I'm just sharing these little points before I just jump right into the video. But yeah, I try to be real, be myself. I know sometimes when you being real and you opening up, sometimes it open that door for people to come in and they criticize. But like I say, I can't help or worry about what people think of me. It's not what people think of you, but it's what you think of yourself. I just want to get that out. But lately, working two jobs is challenging, and I would say it's not for You really have to really have a strong mindset working two jobs. I never thought in the million years, or well, I know million years, and I never thought in this day and time at my age, 40 years old. I'm not ashamed to say my age. The last time I had to work, well, last time I worked two jobs was back when I was, 22. I want to say, yeah, 22. Like I said, I was really young, even healthier at that time. It wasn't, inflation wasn't high back then when I was working two jobs. That was just something I wanted to do to make extra money, even though I was enjoying my life. But now in this time and working two jobs is really have become stressful lately for me. It been mentally draining, to be really honest. Like I say, like yesterday I had work 18 hours. My managers, both my managers know I'm a great worker, so that's why they don't mind providing me the hours, which I truly appreciate, and I'm grateful. And that's one thing I want to say: I am grateful to be able to work and have people that do see that my work ethics is that I do have great work ethics and I provide great service to the companies. That's one thing I'm grateful for, and I'm also grateful that I have two of the sweetest managers. They willing to work around my schedules. They both know I work, another job beside, so they both willing to work around my schedule, which is a good thing. But I'm also need to learn that when you don't have balance in your life and you constantly just on the go, it can do something to you. Because I've been finding myself lately getting very, very depressed. It's been to the point where sometimes even at work I've been have to sing. Like I sing, I love listen to a lot of gospel music, and of course R&B. I usually have to play music to keep me from getting into the negative state of mind. But yeah, it has been very draining lately, and it's been depressing, and it's been causing me to feel like what's my purpose of keep doing this? Like, why work so hard when I'm barely getting by? Even though I know I have to work to take care of myself as well as my daughter, but it can really get hard. And like I said, a lot of people don't open up. Like I said, they always say you got to be on the hustle mode, or there's something you have to do. You have to do what you have to do. That's true. You have to take care of yourselves, your family, but also you have to learn how to find ways to protect your peace and find balance in between. Because if you don't have balance, how can you pour from an empty cup when you're not at your best? You constantly on the go. You constantly showing up at a job. You tired. Your body is aching. It's not good because, like I say, the other day I almost fell out at one of my jobs. I really had to sit down to keep myself from falling out because I literally had an episode a couple years ago where my body completely shut down and I did fell out on one of my jobs. This was like maybe 6 years ago. I was working. I had blanked out. I got dizzy, and I just hit. I hit the floor so fast. I didn't know what I was coming from. So that's why I say for the people who always say they on the, they on the grind. They don't never stop. They work 7, 8 days out of a week. I just want to say this: realistically, it's not healthy. Yeah, work, make your money, and I always be grateful for being able to make money because there are some people who probably can't get out of bed and, due to health reasons or medical conditions they facing. Yeah, be grateful that you can work and make money, but you also have to look at it on the mental state and protect your health, your mental health, because your body was shut down. Like I'm listening to a couple videos earlier this morning when how people is just working these two jobs is really affecting people mental health, and it's not just me. I was watching a video on YouTube, and when I say I can relate so much to what the young lady was saying, like it was a man, he was just sharing his different perspectives on work. Like people is really getting burnt out from all this because in reality, this is something God won't want for his children. I know, God have went through a lot, and like I say, most people, if you've been following me for some time, you all know that I'm trying to build my relationship back with God. So you're gonna hear me talk about how God been, that's who helped keeping me, who's really helped keeping me in the moment and keeping me in my right state of mind is him. And when he wake me up, I have to give him grace, give him honor, and and speak on his name because he's really was helping keeping me going, during these challenging times. He won't want this. This is something man made where, like I say, it's sad that you have to struggle to like really have to, buy certain things because if you working, like I say, everything is just so expensive nowadays. So that's another reason why I know it causing a lot of people to have to work more than one job, you know. But this is something that's like, I feel like some of the stuff that's happening is kind of man made because it just realistically, one job should be able to help pay your bills. I remember that back in the day, one job used to be able to cover everything. You'll have play money left over to do whatever you want to do. Nowadays, I'm gonna just be honest. Me working two jobs and taking a second source of income is still not enough. But I'm not finna go out here and work no another third job and break myself down because I'm like this. If something was to happen to me, and I pray, I knock on wood, but like I say, we all only got one life to live. But if something was to happen to me, I know I'm replaceable for these jobs. That's why I say people be hiding about, oh, people lazy and stuff. It's not that people lazy, people just getting really burnt out from all this because it's really unhealthy and it's becoming too much. That's why I say a lot of people don't open up about these things when it come down to working multiple positions. Like I say, me having a channel or something that's giving me some type of source of, be able to build a brand on the side and follow my dreams besides working these two jobs. Like one thing about me when they come down to work, I'm watching. So when I do want to start, like if I want to start a business where I want to, include food, I have that experience because I'm working, in the hospitality industry. And like I said, I've been doing this for 10 years, so it's nothing new. But working two jobs is not easy and it's really draining and it have you burnt out. Your body will shut down on you and you have to know when to take breaks. So what sometimes like what I do, like y'all know I'm a homebody person. So the days I'm off, like today is actually my first day off from, because I've been working both jobs, this whole past week. Okay, y'all, I'm back. But yeah, I've been working two jobs, both my jobs the last past couple weeks. One of my jobs has been very, very busy, and I've been able to get some extra hours in. So yesterday I worked the second job, which is my part time job. But I feel like sometimes I'm working full time. Sometimes I feel like both my jobs is considered full time because my manager at my second job, like I say, these companies they very short staffed. They not willing to hire nobody, so they'll make you or if they know you're a good worker, they'll try to put extra work off on you. But I have to let my manager know that I can't take on no more tasks than what I can handle. Like he asked me if I could work they had an event at the hotel yesterday. Very, very nice people, very sweet people. I enjoyed it. I had decorated. All this you will see in the video I just uploaded today. Very beautiful. How we set it up. I always like to do little B-rolls on, these events that I cater to. So, like I say, if somebody ever want to reach out to me, and that's why I say I I try to learn to take little tips and pieces. So when I do decide if I want to continue to do food service as a business where I'm trying to build my brand and I include that in there, I can show, this is my portfolio. I have all this experience in this area. But working two jobs is, like I say, you have to find ways to have balance. Realistically, you get 24 hours in a day, 7 days out of the week. Some of us might work 6 days out of the week, get one day out. Some of us might work 7 days straight. I have been there. I have worked 7 days straight before, because if you all don't know, the second job that I currently work, I used to work for this company over 3 years ago. I want to say it was, and so I think I was mentioning to you all in a couple of vlogs back that I reached back out because really my manager, they kind of wanted me to come back. I didn't know they were still short staffed, pretty much the same how it was when I first started back then. But you banquets, the departments I'm working in, which is I feel like always gonna be short staffed because it's a lot of work. And working in in this industry, they want to be so cheap when it come down to paying you. Like they get so much. I don't understand when it come down to the hospitality industry. They holler about they broke or they don't have money, but you get so many events, you get so many people reaching out to have functions going on, but you want to pay your employees so little, but you expect so much out of them. And then my thing is, you barely getting by. Like I say, it's be times where, like I say, we all, y'all, if you've been following me for quite some time, you all know that I don't have a car. I usually have to rely on lifts to take me to and from work. That's like $100 or $200 out of my pocket when I don't really have it. So it's like I'm spending more most of the times than what I'm actually making, and that's with two incomes combined. So that's why I say everybody be so quick to holler about people being broke or people complaining. It's not that people complain that people broke. You have to look at it from a different perspective. Everybody's situations is different. I don't expect for people to look and agree with me on everything, but I know my feelings. Like I say, my feelings is valid. I know what I can take and what I can't take. I always, listen to positive. That's another thing. My life, I'm on the in this area of my life. Like I said, it's a new year. I'm trying to stay positive as much as possible. I don't have time for negativity. Excuse me. So that's even with the things I'm intaking, social media, videos that I come across, watch. If I feel like it's negative, I just hit don't recommend to me, because that's not the kind of life I want. More positivity or something that's going to help me teach me how to be more productive in my life while I'm on this journey of healing and becoming my best self. But like I say, when you working, yeah, you working to provide and take care of yourself and your family, but you have some people barely can afford to eat while they working. Not everybody required to get food stamps. Not everybody get food stamps. So we have to look at a lot of things. Well, I'm gonna say I look at a lot of things differently from other people's perspective. Like I say, I'm working my butt off. Sometimes I'm just being honest. Sometimes I barely can afford to buy myself something to eat. And like I say, I have to choose between which bill I'm gonna pay. Sometimes I might have to put just half on the bill, let the bill roll over, because like I say, it's like nowadays two incomes is still not enough. But I refuse to go out and work a third job. At this point, I said to myself, I had to tell God. One day I was at work, I had got a little teary eyed. That's why I had to play some music. I was listening to one song called I Need You Now by Smokey Norfield. They've been on my playlist. That song it's a very powerful gospel song, but it really been helping me during my days at work or really at one of my jobs, because I most time if I'm by myself there, I have my, if I play a little music. But last week was really a hectic week for me, so I mostly been working by myself, so I was able to just have that song but have it real low where I can only hear. Sometimes you have to find something that's going to keep you going, like something positive. If it's no more, list or positive podcast, because like I say, even at my first job, it been slow, so I'm constantly trying to find ways to protect my peace when I'm working. When you working in these times and you dealing with customers or guests, whatever industry you in, that's another thing that's challenging. You have to get up every day. You're dealing with rude people. Sometimes people don't, energy can be off and they throw that negativity to you, but you have to still keep showing up as your best self. Even though you're not, you barely getting by, not making a lot of money, but you still showing up. That's why I say I give myself grace at all times, because like I say, I don't really be in my best self, but I'm always smiling even though I'm not feeling my best. But then I have to come show up on a job and deal with rude people. That's why I say working in the hospitality industry, it has changed. I have talked about that plenty of times, but that's the only industry here in this city that seems to hire the quickest. I've been thinking about, because like I say, I do have a degree, but I'm learning nowadays a degree. You have people got a bachelor's and master's. Not everybody really getting into their field in these day and times with a degree. And then the thing that gets me, they tell you should go to school and better yourself. And then I feel like sometimes even with the school system have kept a lot of things from us growing up, because I feel like they never taught us when it came down to hard times, financial literacy, what the do's and don'ts, and how you can prepare yourself if you ever hit hard times. Like they didn't teach all that. I'm just being honest. I know I haven't. I wasn't taught that. I was just always taught to do things this way, and I would become successful. If I go to school and graduate, get a job, or go out to college, try to develop a career, I would be successful at this. But I'm looking at nowadays, it don't matter if you have all those qualifications. It don't necessarily guarantee that you're going to get a higher paying job. Or like I say, nowadays some people been working for a company for 20, 30 years and still probably at the same salary rate, or they probably haven't, grew the way they thought they would be. So I just feel like a lot of things been kept hidden. Sometimes I feel like it's I'm a hamster on the wheel. Like I'm just steady going, and moving fast, and not really going nowhere. But like I say, I continue to protect my peace. I stay positive. I was telling someone the other day, because I know a lot of people, it been really slow here in the city, far as business wise. Like I say, long as I've been working in the industry I'm in now, I never seen it this slow. I thought maybe that it could be due to the holiday season, but like I say, a lot of these businesses are hurting. They're not gonna up and tell you, but I always was taught to watch, well, as pray. So I watches a lot of stuff. That's why I say I'm not gonna give my all to a company, but I will show up when needed, or if they need me to work, I'm here. But also I'm learning that after this past week and me feeling the way I'm feeling when it came down to my body, I'm learning that I am obligated to say no. If I can't do something, I just can't do it. And that just real, because like I say, I don't care how much money you make, you can't take money with you. That just realistically, I don't love money. I just know I need money. It's a necessity of life that I needed to help, provide for myself. But you have some people out here think they can take money with them. It just realistically, you just, like I say, we here to, like I said, we here. I know everybody have a purpose, and God has a plan for each and everybody's lives as well as mine. Each and everybody. But we have to also know when enough is enough. I was watching, like I say, I never brought this up and talked about it, but this been so heavy on my heart. If you all might have heard of this story of the young lady. I can't even remember her name. I have seen this video. A lot of people was about this after this happened, but a young lady from Nashville, Tennessee, had her own business. Black young woman, beautiful young lady. May her soul continue to rest in peace. But she was 40 years old. That's why I said it was really heavy for me, because we both the same age. She worked 7 days straight. She had her own business in Nashville. She was a chef, and her business was doing very well. From listening to her story, I had seen this video on YouTube. A lot of people was opening up about this when it happened, but she worked herself. They claimed that she would work 7 days straight. She wouldn't take no off days, take no breaks, just on the ground, work, 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 work. Didn't find time for herself. So they say she posted a video on her Instagram page saying that Keita need a break. She posted, Keita need a break, Keita need rest. It say she laid down, never woke back up the next day. So she died in her sleep. That's why I tell people, your life, the jobs shouldn't dictate your reality, or don't let the job, I'm trying to figure out how I can say this. I'm not gonna let my job become my reality. Like, think that I'm not, I know I'm replaceable. And like I said, if something was to happen to me, they're gonna replace me either way it go. But I'm not so to the point where, and I don't expect for a job, because companies don't care. I know it's a business thing. You getting paid. They paying you to do a task that they hire you to do, while making they're getting rich. They able to feed their families and kids or whatever. I'm also learning to use these jobs where I can build resources on my own. That's why I say I always watch everything. But I'm also not gonna let the job become my identity, where it make me forget about my own dreams. Like, I'm gonna keep doing what I have to do to take care of myself, as well as my daughter. But I'm not gonna let the job become my reality, meaning that it just, everything just gonna keep revolving around that door. No, because I do know to say no. If I'm not feeling it and my body just tired, oh, I know to say no. That's one thing about me. That's why I say you have to prioritize your mental health. And if you need, and if you need to take a break, sometimes you have to be so. But I'm not gonna, even online, social media, I'm not gonna let social media dictate and tell me that, because I know I'm not lazy at all. But at times, like I say, you do get burnt out from some things, and don't nobody talk about mental health, which is on the rise. Don't nobody talk about depression and anxiety. Like I say, we don't talk about those things, but we be so quick to judge other people about their life, or they choose what they choosing to do, about work. Like, when you hear people talk, opening up about work, they go, everybody come out the blue just judging, oh, you're lazy, or you need, no, you're not lazy. It's just sometimes people getting tired. Like, something got to give. It's becoming too much, because you spending more. Some of us spend more money than what we actually making, and still struggling behind the scenes when it come down to our bills. Like, some of us have to choose between a bill or not eating. That's just the reality of, where we at now. But like I say, I'm forever grateful. I know God is bigger. That's what's been keeping me going these last couple of years. Like I say, I've been really trying to build my relationship more with him, and I know he got me. He got all these children, but I know what he have done for me. And like I say, it's just right now I'm trying to get more closer and build a more personal relationship with him. And I know not everybody might, everybody have their own beliefs. I can't make nobody believe, you believe what you want. But I know there is a God, and I know he have saved me plenty of times, even my life. But yeah, we have to learn to prioritize some type of self-care. That's why I say, even on my off days, like I say, I'm a homebody. I try to rest up, because most of the times, even on my off days, I might not have the money to go out and eat and treat myself. That's why I'm saying, we in these times now where sometimes people have to manage what little money they do have. They probably can't treat themselves out to eat, because everything is so expensive in these times. So yeah, working 2 jobs have really been taking a toll on me lately. I'm not gonna sit up here and fake in front and say I know, sometimes some people can make things look easy, and but behind the scenes is really not. It's really not easy. Like I say, I try to, make my channel. I try to include some type of positive message, even though I might open up to you all about certain things. I still like to, include positivity and gratefulness, but I also like to open up and share certain things that, if I want that, if I want that to be shared. But yeah, working two jobs have been really challenging for me, and it's not easy at all, because like I say, I have been very tired. It's getting to the point now where I have to figure out, which days I can, if I might have to work these amount of days here and work these amount of days there. So sometimes I have to let both my bosses know I might can't work this particular day, or give them my schedules ahead of time, because I'm working two jobs. I'm not gonna work myself till I can't get up, or so yeah, it's a lot. So that's why I say we have to learn how to look at things in a different perspective sometimes. Like, everybody's life is different from others, everybody's situations might be different, but I feel like what was, with the inflation, it's hitting everybody, not just one or two people, because like I said, I have came across so many videos, people opening up about how they barely getting by and they working two jobs, so it's like inflation, people not making the money that they once have made. Like, the pay is not adding up, or the pay is not catching up, with inflation. Like, you can be working so many hours a day, but they taxing you more, or they taking this percentage out your check. So it's like you just trying to figure this out. Like, man, I'm working this much, but it's still barely getting me by. So yeah, working two jobs not easy, and I'm not gonna make this video too long, but I'm just here to say, if you are working two jobs, find ways to protect your peace and prioritize. Cause y'all know I'm big on protecting my peace. It's just been so cold, Y'all know one of my favorite spots is the park. It been times, even if you've been following me in my earlier videos, my earlier vlogs, I used to go to the park every single day before I go to work. Cause I remember back then I used to work a evening shift, and I would have to be there in the evenings from like 3 to 11 or 3 to 10. And I would go to the park, protect my peace before I had to come in and deal with people. Because in these times, we all need that. Because, like I say, people nowadays is getting more angrier. I'm talking about, you can be servicing people and you can still be a positive person, carry yourself in a positive way. But you might run into some bad people that try to throw their negativity off on you, and, be in a bad spirit. So I just tell anybody, just find ways to protect your peace, and also find balance in between working two jobs, and just, know when to take breaks if you have to. So yeah. But yeah, until next time, you all have a great one. You all continue to stay safe out there. You all have a beautiful upcoming week. Until the next time. Bye.